Another part of improvisation, I think, very important, is what style we're leaning towards. Because again, it's just like a conversation. You know, if you have a conversation and you're just saying words, any old words, well, that's well and good, but it's not really going to convey a lot to the person that you're having the conversation with. But if you give it a specific direction, you might be talking about philosophy or cookery or violin making or particular periods in history or whatever the theme, suddenly becomes coherent and focused. And I think music deserves no less than that. And so what we need to look at there is stylistically, where are we leaning? So I could take something quite chromatic, so you could say using a 12 note scale. And I'd be leaning with this, obviously, towards something of the Bartok idiom of music. Compare that to something a lot more romantic. So there's a lot of different ways we can cut the shoe to fit the foot, as it were, the imagination of what we're trying to convey. So another example of stylistic, the power of the stylistic component of the music would be if I take a simple pentatonic scale. If I play that in a less European way, we could end up with this. So we're leaning more perhaps towards a traditional Chinese style of music, certainly Asian, you can say that much, and way of playing. So this is important, so we start to really use it, all that beautiful time we've spent in classical music, learning to control the tone and the vibrato and the way the music phrases and where the crescendo is and which notes get emphasised and which notes are dying away. So in this way, it's actually not any different at all from our traditional classical music studies and performance. It's very compositional. Improvisation is very, very compositional. So we've talked so far about the choice of the scale, the notes, the key that we're employing for the music as the direct way to create the colour and the emotion. The way the rhythm influences that. Is it duple time? Is it triple time? Is it in no time? Is it very energetic and accented? Is it very tranquil? Those sorts, and the phrasing's all about metrical placement, how long we wait on a note, how long we linger, or how quickly we get off it onto the next note. So in this sense, this is what I love about it, is that it's really the same as I'd always done with all my formal classical studies and training and performance. So here we are, we're talking about the stylistic influences. Now, we've just seen going from a more romantic way of playing the pentatonic scale to a more Asian way. Well, let's take, here's another way we can use the same scale. Straight into some blues. We could do it in a very Baroque way. So that it's limitless. Now we come to what I think is actually the most important aspect of improvisation, really, and it's not so much about the knowing what to do feeling, it's more about the finesse of what we're actually expressing. And I think that the really interesting improvisation, firstly, should always be able to stand up next to a scored work, and hopefully no one could tell the difference. I think we shouldn't be excusing improvisation as being something less to listen to. I think it needs to be serious music. Well, it can be. I like it to be serious music making. So with regard to that, I'd like to just explore a few ideas that I use, for instance, with this. So I like to take a story. So I might be imagining something like here in Australia where I live, gets very hot in the summer, and I actually live out in the country, in the land, and we have a lot of forests and living trees and old dead trees and very rocky outcrops, mountaintops, and just on the plains there's often rocky outcrops. So let's take that as a bit of a theme. So when I'm playing, I'm not just improvising as in, well look, I don't have a score, I'm improvising. I'm improvising really in the sense of I'm creating pictures. This is like pictures for an exhibition that a painter might paint. And so how can I create that rocky outcrop? Let's have a go. So I'm trying to convey the heat and the sparseness, the strength that these large rocks, very rugged, rough rocks, bring. For me, that's my interpretation. And this is the wonderful thing. You know, everybody's going to have their own language. You all have your own language when it comes to expressing yourself. You have your own voice. Voice recognition is one of the earliest things that all mammals develop, and that is that they have a recognition from the mother to the child, child to the mother, the sound of the voice, the centre is also important, but the sound of the voice. So there's actually voice recognition in everybody, because every child knows their mother's voice, and every mother knows their child's voice. And it's like this. So we all have our own intrinsic voice, and we also have our own intrinsic library of musical experiences that we had that we'll be drawing on. It's natural. We're going to be drawing on experiences that we've had. So whether it's a lot of classical music or a lot of world music or a mixture, or perhaps popular music as well, or indigenous music, world music as we call it. These things are all going to be unique in their proportions and content for each musician. It's natural. Some will be even within classical more orientated towards Baroque or avant-garde or the romantic repertoire. So these sort of familiarities speak very loudly when we play our music. And so we're talking about the ambience or the story of the music.